Hey, just getting some letters punched out today. I'm a little behind, so I thought I'd take this really super hot day and do absolutely nothing outside and try to get caught up here with some of my letter writing and to share an experience with you, a travel experience. I went and visited a friend last month in Colorado, and boy, what a great trip that was. I guess I don't travel often enough to have had this happen to me before, but I actually got hit with a travel delay flying out of St. Louis. The weather was really kind of nasty, and the plane that we were supposed to take to Denver got diverted to Indianapolis, and we were told that it wasn't coming back until 2.5 hours later. So we were stuck. I used the time to grab myself a bottle of water. I also picked up a new book, and I thought I would just kill the time reading a book. Everybody kind of went their separate ways. There were these three guys, two of them easily my age, one of them 10, 15 years younger. They used that 2.5 hours to go to the bar and get just annihilated. I would say that I was embarrassed for them, but kind of in I remember my 21st birthday sort of way. There were people all over the concourse because a couple of flights had been delayed. And when I say that these guys were falling on the floor, they were literally, backpacks and all, falling on the floor. Each one of them fell no fewer than 4 times. And I got to looking around and thinking, does anybody else see this? Am I the problem? One of these people was in line in front of me to get on the plane. The other two were back a couple of groups behind me. This was my first experience, by the way, on Southwest since they started assigning seats. And because I was traveling by myself, I really didn't care where I sat. And I figured if they're going to just find a single flyer, they're going to see me as a single traveler and they're going to stick me in a middle seat, which they did. Fine. I can last 2 hours in a plane. That's cool. Between the beginning of the jetway and the door to the plane, the gentleman that was in front of me fell 2 more times on the floor before a flight attendant asked him to stand aside. The flight wasn't full, which kind of surprised me. And I went all the way back to my seat, which I think was 23E or something like that. It was a middle seat. And I threw my bag under the seat and got myself comfortable. And none of those 3 guys made it on the flight, and I had the whole row to myself. That was pretty sweet. So I spent my time reading my new book and killing 2 hours on my way to Denver. Once I got to Denver, everything went well. I was able to grab my luggage and catch up with my friends who actually picked me up from the airport. They live about an hour away, so I didn't have to rent a car, and I stayed with them. So it was a pretty economical trip for me to take. Because I was late, we had some plans to do something that night, and because I got in later than expected, we just went to their house and had some dinner and got caught up and spent the night hanging out with each other. But the next day, I went for a walk with my friend. We went around a lake in Boulder called Coot Lake, C-O-O-T Lake. Really great trails there. It's pretty flat, but very popular trail with dog owners. Ran into so many dogs. It was really, really cool. And after we hiked, we went to a coffee shop that actually Bridge and I buy our coffee beans that we use every single day. We buy our beans and have them shipped from this coffee shop. It's called Ampersand Coffee Shop. They have a really wonderful selection of coffee. It's all really delicious, and they have a really wonderful mission. I'll put a link in the description down here, and you can go check them out. I think you'll find it. It's a pretty cool thing that they're doing. And then after that, we went back to his house and picked up his wife, and then the three of us, we went down to Pearl Street. And because I do all of these analog things, now I find out that when I travel, I'm looking for the stationery stores. And I found one on Pearl Street called Two Hands Papery. And I went in there just kind of trying to see what kind of shop it was and what they had. And boy, oh boy, did they have a great selection of fountain pens. I picked up this new Lamy Palladium. It's one of the aluminum-bodied Lamy fountain pens, and I thought, boy, that was really fantastic. And then I looked up on top of a cabinet, and they had a restored typewriter, and I came so close. I came so close to coming home with a new typewriter. It was a 1933 Underwood portable, and apparently there's a guy up in Longmont, which is right next to Boulder, who restores these, but he just kind of restores them as he gets his hands on them, and then he sells them to the stores, and they put a markup on it, and they sell them to the public. And it was, boy, you know what? It was just expensive enough to make me collect my wits and say, you just really don't need to be doing this. It was so beautiful. I tested it out. They gave me paper. They pulled it down. They let me punch out a few words on it. I thought, if I keep doing this, it's going home with me. And I just couldn't let that happen. So I respectfully declined that, but I did pick up some really killer paper that I'm typing on right now, handmade paper that types really well. It takes the ink really well, and I love the texture of it. It's really, really, really nice. And then, of course, my new fountain pen. I've been using that at work lately. I've got some green ink in it right now, and it looks pretty cool. And that store is on Pearl Street. And if you're familiar with Boulder, you know that Pearl Street is kind of a pedestrian mall. A lot of it is, and of course, it's popular with the tourists. But I had to go there because that's where the stationery store was. And we went down to Rocket Fizz, another cool place. I mean, vintage ads and signs, vintage candy I haven't seen since I was a kid, bins and bins and bins of saltwater taffy and Clark bars, and my buddy and I we were in a candy store, right? We were kids in a candy store. It was fantastic, and I don't know how Bridge and I have missed this place. I'll go there again, and I'll spend stupid amounts of money bringing home all kinds of stuff, especially when I'm with her, because we tend to shop when we're out and about. And then they also had a bunch of bottled sodas in there. That was also really, really cool. I did get to stop into In the Wind, which is a kite store, but they also have games and puzzles and things like that in there. We have a habit of stopping in that store every time we go out there to pick up little wind-up toys that work really well as stocking stuffers for the holidays. So I picked up 8 or 9 little wind-up toys and brought those home with me. And then we went, my buddy's wife told me about the Trident Cafe and Bookshop, which was apparently, I don't know a whole lot about the history, but she was telling me that the beat poets that were based in Boulder, that was a place that they really hung out at a lot. And I still have to do that research and kind of look into that and see a little more about what that's about. But just an excellent time on Pearl Street. The weather was phenomenal. It was a little warm, but we had a great time. We went back to dinner at their house and had just made some Mexican for dinner. And then down in the basement, my friend's got a pretty killer audiophile quality audio system, and we sat in the sweet spot, and we just exchanged requests for about an hour. Let's listen to this. Okay, it's your turn. What do you want to hear? And I got to hear some music through a system that just made those songs sound a whole lot different. So that was a really good time. When I got up on Saturday morning, we went for a walk around a huge neighborhood real close to where my friends live, and we probably walked 4 or 4.5 miles. It was it was a nice walk for the morning. We went out right after we had a little bit of breakfast. And my friend, he used to teach at one of the community colleges here in St. Louis. He's an artist, and he used to teach figure drawing, and he used to teach painting. And what I think is really cool is he retired 5-6 years ago, maybe 2 miles or less, probably less than 2 miles from where they live. He found someone who owns a farm and has several outbuildings, small little outbuildings that are actually geared for people who are creatives. And he rents a small studio space there. He has his entire painting studio set up in this space. And it was really cool to see what he's been working on and what the change in surrounds has really done for his work and to his work. And I saw some of his completed work. I saw some of the stuff that he's working on currently. And it's really exciting. I really dig his work. He's also working on some small little sculptural things too that I didn't get any photographs of. But it's just really engaging. It's an engaging environment because when you walk out of this building, in every direction there are horses, there are chickens. It's a farm, and the horses are gorgeous. And we spent a couple hours over there in the afternoon just kind of hanging out and talking with the people who ran the farm. And that was just a really delightful experience. When dinner time rolled around, we found a place in Longmont that has gluten-free pizza crust. And I was kind of feeling pizza. So, every once in a while I like a good heavy meal. And it didn't disappoint. What was really convenient about it was the plans that my buddy and I had for the night were to go see a band, and the band was called, Steely Dead. So Steely Dan, Grateful Dead. I wasn't really sure how they were going to mix those up, but apparently it's just starting with a song of one band and finding a song that's in the other band that's kind of in the same key, and they just kind of jam them in between. They kind of jam them together and wove a really nice little concert together. And that concert was outside. It was under a big, large pavilion at a brewery that was right around the corner from the place where we got pizza. So his wife dropped him and I off. She went home. She came to pick us up after the show. But man, I have never really gotten into the Grateful Dead. I'm a huge Steely Dan fan, though, by the way. I've got all their albums on vinyl, and they're just good stuff. So it was an opportunity for me to get familiar with some of the Grateful Dead's material. And I got to tell you, it's really easy to get caught up in that, especially on a live performance. It doesn't really matter to me. I can go listen to blues. I can listen to the symphony. I can listen to the Dead. I just got back from seeing Rush in Chicago last week. If there's a live performance, I'm all about that. I think it's such a tremendous triumph of the human ability to watch somebody display those kinds of skills in public on a stage to share with everybody. And I just had a really, really, really good time. So of course I came home and I made myself a Grateful Dead playlist, and on and off I've been kind of letting my ears get used to that music. It's a lot of it's really, really enjoyable. The end of my adventure came on Sunday. I had a late flight out of Denver, so we got to spend some time. We got to go to Pella Crossing, which is kind of up in that space between Longmont and Boulder. Got to walk a nature trail that was really gorgeous. A couple of big lakes. It's on both sides of the road, and man, oh man, just to be out on that beautiful of a morning and the haze from the day before had cleared off, and it was a beautiful day. I actually got a couple of really nice photographs. It was just wonderful. And then we went to a Mexican place in Longmont for lunch that was actually touted to me by our server as celiac friendly. I'll take that all day long. Had a delicious meal. The food was really good. I'll definitely go back to that place. And then it was time to go home. And so that we made the long trek down to DIA, and they dropped me at the curb, and I said my goodbyes. And I walked into the terminal and went to check in, and I had left my cell phone on their back seat. And after about a minute of just panic, because you're so used to carrying it, and I made a lot of strides in the last 18 months and not reaching for my phone as often, but all of my travel plans were on there, all of my information was on there, and it took a minute for it to sink in, because I did have my bag, and I just reminded myself that I had my driver's license, I had everything I needed to go get a paper boarding pass, and so I went and got a paper boarding pass, and without my phone, I continued reading my book and made some friends, talked with some people. And when I got home, I had Bridge text my friend's wife just to ask if she could overnight my phone to me, so because I need it to as part of what I have to do to log into my computer at work. And boy, what an expensive mistake. She dropped it in FedEx Monday morning, and I got it before 10 on Tuesday, and all for the bargain basement fee of $152. So that's not a mistake I'll be making again anytime soon. Anyway, that's kind of the short version of my trip and my travels. Bridge and I have a couple of trips lined up. One this month, we're going to head to Kansas City. And then next month is the big one. I still don't know where I'm going. She's taking me somewhere for a week for my milestone birthday that's coming up, and I still have no idea where we're going. I think that does it for this one. I'm gonna sign it and get a wax seal on it and get it in an envelope, and then I'm gonna start working on the next one because the afternoon is still pretty young and I still have plenty to do.